I'm going to share my Excel spreadsheet. I still haven't gotten the complete hang of Google Sheets. You know, I use it, but it's just not always all that easy for me, right? So if you guys can do me a favor, just type in Excel if you can see my Excel spreadsheet, right? If you can see where it says input and revenue calculator. Guys, let me know that. And by the way, guys, just so you know, it's super duper helpful. The more you comment, the more you will get out of this, right? The more that you engage in the presentation, the more you will remember. Neurological studies show that the more people engage both with typing, reading, listening, talking, right? The more you can engage with the information, the more you're going to retain it. Very, very important. Awesome. Scott, David, thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. You can see the Excel sheet. So the question is, okay, and if you guys want, so if whoever wants to be the guinea pig, just type in what your financial goal is. Whoever's the first to type it in is the one that I'll do as an example. But whoever hops in, I can break it down. I can break your business down to the very nth degree. If you just whoever puts something in the comments, right? Put your goal, or even if it's not your goal, put half your goal. I want to show you how to break it down, and I like to do this as a real world example for somebody. So David, Scott, Charlie, whoever's who's on right now, let me know what you'd like your income to be for this year, and we'll break it down for you. All right. So like I said, the daily activities are your North Star. Again, your input is so far separated from the outcomes so that you really need something to depend on, right? So what happens is what you need to do is know what you need to do. When you get to the office every single day, this is what you need to do, right? So for instance, let's go with, what's a good number to make this year? Let's say you want to make $300,000 this year, you know? Yeah, let's go with 300,000, right? So what you do, the first thing you do is you put 300,000 into the revenue calculator, right? And then do me a favor. Let's see, David, give me, if you don't mind, an average size transaction from you see in your area. I mean, I know CoStar said 1.5 million. Is that about accurate from what you can see in New Orleans or in Louisiana at large? Because if you do, that would be super helpful. Because what we do is first we put in what our target revenue is, right? And then from there, we extrapolate out what our average sale size is. What I like to do is I like to be conservative, and I'll tell you why. Because even though the average sale size might be X, you know, you don't always sell every building that you put on the market, obviously, right? We factor for it, but sometimes, you know, you have to take some smaller listings, right, in order to generate yourself a little consistency, in order to have several properties closing, you know, at a month. So you might not always get $1.5 million properties. So what I do is I like to take the average sale size and cut it in half, right? So right here, what we'll do is we'll put in 750,000. And what's really cool about that is we will break down exactly what it's going to take for you to make the money you want, right? David says, yes, New Orleans and Baton Rouge, slightly higher than 1.5 million, other markets lower than 1.5 million. Okay, so it's a pretty good estimate, right? I mean, CoStar, well, they do know best, but like I said, let's go ahead and take half of that. Because if we take half, I'd rather err on the side of caution and be optimistic than be overly optimistic. And next thing you know, you're doing your daily behaviors, but you're not making the money that you want, right? So here's how we figure it out, guys. If you want to make, let's say in New Orleans, let's say you want to make $300,000 in that market, right? And the average sale price is 1.5 million. Cut that in half for consistency's sake, and the average size commission per side is going to be 22.5, right? And then obviously we're not going to talk about what your brokerage splits are and so forth. I just want to give you some ballpark numbers, back of the napkin type thing, right? Now, what's important to understand about this is we got 13.3 sides you need to close in order to hit your target. Basically, that comes to 1 sale per month. When you break it down like that, that's not so bad. So an average of basically a little more than 1 sale per month, right? You get 2 sales in 1 month and 1 sale every other month of the year. That's going to give you 13 sides. Now, the cool part about sides is if you get good at your marketing, and that's something that we teach in CRE basic training, right? If you get good at your marketing, you know how to reach out to the right people. You can start double ending deals. So you don't have to sell 13 properties. You could sell 8 properties and half of them get both the sell side and the buy side. And that's going to allow you to, you don't have to work as hard when you're getting both sides of the deal, right? As an example, fourth quarter of 21, I did 5 transactions. 4 of the 5, I got both sides of the deal. Now that doesn't happen every time, but the point being is that the marketing approach that I teach people, how to find the most likely candidates, to how to find what I call the usual suspects, that is what will help you make your business life a lot easier. You don't have to do as much prospecting. You don't have to sell as many different properties when you're getting both sides of the transaction, right? The only thing better than making $1 for X amount of work is making $2 for basically the same amount of work. You guys with me, right? So if anyone else here would like to make $2 for the same amount of work, you know, say aye, right? Okay, so so check it out. So in David's market, right? $300,000, $750,000 average size, you got 13 sides. Okay, that could be 7 properties, and 6 of the 7 you're going to get both sides. Now, mind you, that's not likely, and I don't want to pretend that it is. But every once in a while, you know, you'll half the properties. I've done it. We're 4 out of 5 in 1 quarter. It happens, but I wouldn't count on it. What I would count on is maybe, you know, 25% of the time you're going to double end it. Maybe one of every 3 you're going to double end it, something like that. Depends on how good your database gets. And we show you how to do that in our training course, right? But so now what we have to do is we have to look here, right? And what you have to do is you have to look at some conversions, right? When you pick up the phone, you're making dials, right? So your dials to connects are going to be 1 conversion, right? And if you look here, D to C, right? Dials to connects, that's 1 conversion. That's a 10% conversion, let's just say. From contacts, so whenever you get the intended party on the phone, that's a contact, right? From contacts to meetings is going to be from here to here. So 100 to 20 is 20%, right? 1 out of every 5. With me? Okay. The next one is going to be from how many meetings you take to how many listings, right? In this case, I did basically 1 out of every 7. It's kind of low, but again, this is very, very conservative stuff, guys. And I'll show you what the ratios are for a newer broker and what for a seasoned broker, right? What you can do, because once you get good at this stuff, guys, it makes your life a lot easier, okay? And then finally, how many listings you need to sell in order to hit that, right? With this amount of input, okay? So, and for reference, for dials, guys, most of the time you can do about anywhere between 28 and 31 dials a month. If you're not lollygagging, if you have a script, you stick to the script. And, I'm sorry, not a month, an hour, right? In that way, if you stick to the script, you can get about, let's call it 30 dials an hour. So if you had to, let's say, do 47 dials, you're talking about an hour and a half-ish, hour and 40 minutes, something like that. If you take a 10-minute break, something like that. Okay. So the point is, if you wanted to hit these numbers, if you wanted to make 300,000 in New Orleans at half of the average sale price, right? If you made 47 dials a day, you at these conversions, which are very, very conservative, you'd wind up selling 1 listing a month. Now, mind you, L to S, whose listings to sale ratio is only 1 out of every 3, right? So the point I'm making here is that at very, very conservative numbers, when you're picking up the phone and you're only getting 1 out of every 10 people on the phone, typically my conversion rates are usually between 13 and 18%, 12 and 18%. So if I dial 50 people, I get between 6 and 9 people on the phone. Okay. So let's bump this up to something a little bit more realistic. That's usually about 15, right? Now, if you notice, as your conversions get better, you don't have to make as many dials, right? But let's keep this as it is. You saw just by going from 10% to 15% made a big difference. That is a measure of the strength of the information that you have, the type of people that you're reaching out to. You can call the wrong number 1,000 times. You're still never going to get Mrs. Jones on the phone. You have to have Mrs. Jones' correct phone number. So you have to make sure you get good quality information so that you're able to get the people, actually get the people on the phone. But with decent quality information, you're going to be averaging about 15%, right? Next, from contacts to meetings, right? So if you can get 5 people on the phone, you get 1 meeting out of it, right? And with the right scripts, the right tonality, and most importantly, reaching out to the right audience for the right reason, you should be able to get 1 out of every 5, 1 out of every 4, something like that. So let's just keep this at 1 out of every 5. If you get 5 people on the phone, you should be able to get 1 meeting out of it. Okay. Now, from meetings to listings, 15% is kind of low, right? So what if we just took this up, instead of going 1 out of every 7 meetings, you did it 1 out of every 6, right? So let's just bump this up to like 17%, right? Boom. Makes your life a lot easier. The better you get at your listing presentation, the easier it is to take listings and so forth, right? So what you'll see here is then before, if you guys remember, it was 0.99 meetings per month. Now with just a little increase in the dials to connects, a little increase in the meetings to listings, you know, if you're getting a little bit better, right? What happens is you wind up selling a lot more. So this number only has to be about 1.1, right? So we don't have to do 1,000 dials a month, right? You could probably do this with, let's see, 800? No, not even. 725? No, not even, right? 675? There we go. Okay, right? So if you sell 1.1 listings a month, you're going to get approximately 13.3 sides, okay? Which means that if you want to, and now again, at half of the average sale size in New Orleans, okay, if you want to make $300,000, okay, you need to be making 32 dials per day, every day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks of the year, in order to hit these numbers. Does that make sense to everybody? Does anybody have any questions on that particular part? Because this is a key component, right, guys? Understanding how you back your numbers in from I want to make this to how we back this all in. Now, mind you, the reason why you want to check your numbers, you want to pay attention to your numbers, is you want to be able to track how things are converting, what's actually happening. Right now, you're guessing and saying, I think I'm going to get 15 out of 100 people on the phone. That means 7.5. If you make 50 dials, you get 7.5 people. 7 one day, 8 the next, right? And maybe when you get people on the phone, you can only get a meeting 1 out of every 6 times, right? So maybe this number should be more like 17%, right? And then when you start going to listing appointments, maybe instead of 1 out of every 7, you get 1 out of every 5. Well, this number becomes 20%, right? And then finally, when you take listings to the market, maybe you're not selling 1 out of every 3, you're only selling 1 out of every 4, right? But over time, if you track this for 6 months to a year, you're going to have a really good idea of how good your business is. What does that allow you to do? What it allows you to do is predict, if I want to get to here next year, I have to do this, right? Based on the hundreds and hundreds or thousands of calls you make in a year. If you're doing 50 calls a day, you're averaging about 1,200 calls a month. You're looking at 14, 15,000 a year. You can get really, really specific and get very, very close to what you're looking to do. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? Like you can really, really predict pretty accurately how you're going to perform. The law of large numbers dictates it, right? Some days are going to be better than others. Some days you're not going to be feeling well. Some days you're going to be on fire. Some days you feel like a rock star. Some days you don't. But you put them all in the wash. And at the end of the day, you are finally left with some pretty good, statistically important data, right? Data that you can count on, right? So does anybody have any questions with that? If you'd like to give me, like I did this for New Orleans, if anybody else would like to hop on, give me an income level and a city and state, I can tell you how to predict this. It's very, very straightforward once you do it. And most importantly, guys, all of this, none of this, I should say, means anything if you're not tracking your numbers. And all you have to do, right? It doesn't have to be a fancy spreadsheet. It doesn't have to be anything to track your numbers. You just, you make a call, you make a dash, make another call, make another dash, make another call. You do 4 and you cross through the 5th. Very, very simple, guys. All you need to do is do it consistently. Consistency will beat everything. Someone with a good game plan, someone with a silver tongue that can, talk the paint off the walls. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, the person who is the most consistent will be the one that will win time and time again. Scott says, can you share a link to the spreadsheet so that we can download it? Absolutely. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll put it in the comments for you. Let me grab that real quick for you, and we'll go from there. In fact, it might be here. Hang on one second. Boom. Oop. No, that's not it. Yeah, so I'll get you a copy of that. What I'll do is when we get off, I'll put it in the comments below so you can download it, so you can reference it, right? Because Scott, obviously you want to be able to do this yourself with what you're looking with checking your own income. But this is the way to do it, guys. I'll do another one, right? Let's throw out an example. Let's say you're a newer broker. Let's say you're a young buck and it's like your first or second year in the business and you want to be able to make like 120,000, right? And let's say, let's say you live in Chicago, right? And that's an average sale price of 1.3 million. 1.3 million at 3% is going to be $39,000 per side. But let's cut that in half, right? So half of 1.3 is going to be what, 675? Is that right? 675, right? Okay. So average sale size is 675, means you're going to get $20,000 per side, and which means you need to get 5.9 sides as a newer broker in order to close a deal, right? Which means you could sell 3 properties and double end all 3, not as likely, but you could sell 4 or 5 properties and double end 1 or 2 of them, right? But all you need to do is you need to get basically 6 sides here, okay? So let's back it in, right? Let's say you're a newer broker and you got 10% of the time you get the person on the phone that you're intended to reach out to. And let's say like your scripts aren't quite that dialed in, so you only get like 15% of the time you're able to get the meeting, right? So like 1 out of like every 7 times you get someone on the phone, you can get a meeting, right? And then meetings to listings, let's say you're not really all that great at it in the beginning, but you 1 out of every 7 meetings you go to, you're going to get the listing. And then let's just say 1 out of every 4 properties you put on the market, you're going to sell, right? What this means is, okay, you're going to need, in order for you to hit 6 sides, you're going to have to hit 0.5 sides per month, right? This is, at the end of the day, this is the monthly listings sold, right? So if you see, based on these conversions all tie in over here to give you your monthly, weekly, and daily activities, right? So as you can see, you're going to have to do a little bit better than this 675 as a newer broker trying to make $120,000 in Chicago or in Illinois for that matter, right? So let's bump these numbers up, and let's look at probably, let's say like 750. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, we're getting close. You might have to do 800, right? Boom. All right, we're getting closer. Let's go with 850, see what that looks like. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get this listing sold number to about 0.5, because 6 divided by 12 months is going to give you 0.5 listings per month. So maybe this is like 875. Boom. Okay. 875. Okay. As a new broker, right? That means that you would have to put in 41 dials per day to the right audience. Okay. What does that mean, guys? I don't know about you, but when I was a new broker, you could be 22, 23 years out of school, years old, coming right out of school. It is entirely plausible to be able to make, within your first 2 years out of school, make $120,000. There's no reason why you can't sell 6 properties 2 years into this business with the right tools and the right game plan. My point is, tell me where else you can make that kind of money in your mid-20s, right? And 41 dials a day is about an hour and 15 minutes of prospecting. Like I said, you can do about 30 dials an hour. So an extra 11, that's going to take you an hour, 15, hour and 20, call it 90 minutes, right? I don't know how you can make that kind of money. When I was 22 years old, I was snaking sewers and doing construction, right? For $8, $9, $10 an hour. Okay. I promise you, this is the easiest work you could do to make this the most amount of money possible. I promise you, right? So the point is, you can make really good money even if you don't have really good conversions, even if your calls to meetings is low, even if your meetings to listings is low. All you have to do, guys, is be consistent. You can break 6 figures falling off a log doing this stuff, guys. In fact, let's look at what that looks like. $100,000, right? Boom. You got to close 5 sides in a year. What does that mean? You could sell 3 properties and double end 2 of the 3, right? But the point is, guys, you don't need to do that much work. It's about an hour to an hour and a half of prospecting, and you can make really good money in this business. Okay. I hope that was instructional for you guys. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and as soon as we get off, I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the spreadsheet that you have here. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the comments so that you can download it and you can work it backwards. Share it with other brokers in your building, or I mean, like in your brokerage. By all means, print it out and stick it on the side of your wall or your cubicle or whatever you have, right? Do whatever you have to. The more that which gets measured gets managed, right? So when you know that your daily activities need to be 41 dials and you're only doing 24, guess what? You're not, you know, it's going to be staring you at the face that you're not going to be hitting your goals because you're going against the law of large numbers. You guys with me? Okay. So you just trust me. If you trust the numbers, right, and you track them long enough, you're going to get these things really, really accurate. You dial this in over a 1, 2, or 3 year period. It's going to be scary how accurate it is. So like all I need to do to go from here to here next year is just crank up the dials, or get a little bit better with my scripts, or get a little bit better with marketing, or double end a couple more deals. You guys with me? It's very, very systematic. Once you start putting in the time, once you track your data, and once you're consistent with your inputs. You guys with me? Okay. Hopefully this helps, guys. Give me the thumbs up. I see some people are giving thumbs up on this. Hopefully this has been helpful so you can see what it takes to predict your revenue. Because a lot of people say, oh, I don't know how to get there. I don't know. It's very simple. It's like a ladder. You go climb one rung, then the next, then the next. It's very, very systematic and very, very simple, you know? And then next thing you know, you pop 1 or 2 big properties and you're way over what your intended income for the year was, right? So you get 1 or 2 biggies, and next thing you know, instead of making that 100, you're making 200 and 250, 300, whatever. So this kind of business you can have some really, really big years, but what I would prefer you guys to have is consistent income, and every once in a while you get a big pop. But I would love to see you guys have consistent, repeatable business, because that's what allows you to sleep well at night and put your head on the pillow and not have to worry about when the next commission's coming through and so forth. All right, guys. So like I said, I hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out down in the comments below. By the way, this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we coach in our coaching program, CRE Basic Training. What we do is we take you over a 6-month period and we break down a very specific game plan for you. We break it down to the daily dials, what you need to be doing. We look at what your scripts look like. We show you what you need to be doing, what you need to be saying, how you need to be saying it to increase your chances of converting strangers on the phone to listings in your portfolio. Right? So we break it down for you over the 6-month period. So by the time you get done, you'll know who to reach out to, what to say, how to say it, where to find them, how to research them. And then you'll have created a database over that 6-month period so that you have everything you need to go out and be armed for battle. All right, guys. So if anybody is interested, if you would like to know a little bit more, if you want your business this year, if you decide today is the day that my business is going to start, and this is the first day of the rest of my career. If you want to really take it up a level this year, guys, put #training in the comments. You put #training in the comments, I'll reach out to you and we'll decide a time that we can hop on the phone and we can discuss exactly what it might look like for us to work together and see what we can do to take your business to the next level. Warren Buffett said the best investment you can make is in yourself. You invest in yourself and you have that investment for the rest of your life. I highly recommend, if your business is not where you want it to be, that you figure out a way to get it to where it needs to be. Learn from someone that's already done it. Learn from somebody that knows the skill that you want to know, because the only thing we can't get back is time. Money will come back to us. Time is the only thing we can't get back. So invest in yourself, guys, whether it's with our training program or a different training program. I just recommend, I want all you guys to absolutely knock it in the park. I want you to be successful in your business, and for your families, for your communities, for the world, right? I really want everybody to grow and learn. So if the more you invest in yourself, the better off you will be. If you'd like to talk to us about what it'd be like for us to help you guys out and get your business to the next level, #training. That is all for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really great to see you, and I look forward to seeing you same time next week. Talk to you soon.